I am Dr. Stanford Carpenter. I'm a cultural anthropologist. I am also a comic scholar and comic creator. I am the chair of the Black and Brown Comic Arts Festival, and I'm manager of community engagement at the OI at University of Chicago. Wow, what inspired me? Well, I came to the first one. I never thought of it as being inspired. No, it's not in a bad way. I never thought it was being inspired. So I started coming to, I actually first met Frederick at SoulCon. And so I was one of the people who regularly attended SoulCon. And then also in helping to start up the Black and Brown Comic Arts Festival, I was just involved in a lot of conversations with Frederick. So when he moved to Texas and he said he was going to be starting BIPOC Pop, of course I was like, how can I help? And along with wanting to help, that comes with being here. And it's just been really incredible to see this develop and to have had conversations with Frederick when this is more of an idea. And now to see it as a reality it's an amazing experience. Okay, I will be presenting today at 3 o'clock. It's on a panel that's gonna the title is one that it's a panel that's going to focus on mythology. So I've been in contact with my fellow panelists. We'll be talking a lot about sort of the role of mythology in our work, but also the role of mythology in comics and animation. I come to it from a particular vantage point, where I, as chair of BCAF, it's like I do a lot of work around organizing panels and helping to organize comic conferences but in the place where I wear my other hat at the OI, which is short for the Oriental Institute, it's it's essentially an archaeology museum that also does a lot of work with we have the Epigraphic Survey, in which we do a lot of work with ancient languages. So with that hat, I do I'm intersecting with an institution that does a lot of work having to do with the ancient world. And being there has been interesting in that it intersects with my comic research. It intersects with my comic research in that I'm incredibly interested in the ways in which the ancient world and ideas about the ancient world and ideas about archaeology and the recovery of culture influence the development of pop culture and especially comic art. So it's something I've spoken on in the past for a couple of years now, and that's the sensibility I'll be bringing to the panel on myth, which mythology is just one of the things that the ancient worlds offer us. Well, I mean, for me, what's interesting about being here is that I started doing research on comics as a cultural anthropologist decades ago, and one of the things that and even in doing that, I didn't come to doing anthropological research in a very traditional way. As a kid, I always wanted to make comics. In my undergraduate work, I actually my primary major was archaeology, not anthropology. So I spent some time as a map maker and site illustrator for archaeological digs, and that's always been the sensibility that I bring to comic scholarship. I look at the comic as an artifact, and I put my anthropological hat on to look at how people make that artifact and what that artifact means. And so I think that would be the one thing that I would say is a little bit is what distinguishes my work. But topically, I also have a strong interest in Afrofuturism, and then also along with John Jennings, we co-developed the term ethnogothic to start addressing issues having to do with race and horror. So yeah, that's where I come from. That's what I bring to the table, and that's what I enjoy.